Apologies, my cat has got other ideas. Hello. All right, Mr. Cat, do you mind getting down? Sorry, just go. Get down. Hello. Good evening.
Evening.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for everyone joining us. Thanks to everyone. I've got a very stubborn cat who is insistent on joining my meeting. Come on, get down. Oi. Sorry. Go. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, Jumoke. He's a bit of a naughty animal. Okay, go on. So we'll give it another 1 minute or thereabouts, and then we can get started with everybody. Some of the perils of working from home, you can see with me at the moment. 1 second. Hello.
Hi.
Are you still there?
I'm there.
All right. Thanks to everyone joining us today. I can see quite a few people coming in quickly. Good evening. Once again, my name is Dr. Gundia, pediatric consultant here. And I was just wondering, have we only got ex-final year students, now newest doctors in the house? Or have we got other people joining them at the moment? Please feel free to speak. Okay, I think Jumoke's video appears to be frozen. I'm just going to wait and see what happens with that. Okay. I'm admitting people as quickly as they come in. Jumoke, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm there. Can't you see me?
Okay, now I can see you. You're back. All right. So thanks to everyone who's joining us again for this second iteration of our Edge series talk. Like I said earlier to the guys who came in quicker, my name is Dr. Ogundia. Everybody knows me as Alaba, my middle name, from my Ife days. And today we've chosen a nice topic. First, I would say, I know the exams are over, results are out, and congratulations to everyone who's scaled this big hurdle. Give yourself a big pat on the back. And to anybody else who might be here with us and has had 1 or 2 issues with these exams, just know one thing, that this is not the end of the road. This is just a kink. So today we've chosen a topic which probably is very apt for the moment, considering what everybody might be going through at the moment. We're talking about going against the odds and surviving the odds as it is. So I've got in the house with me today who will be speaking, Dr. Jumoke. Now, this is a lady who, to most of us, I mean, we've known Jumoke for how long now? 20 years or odd. So Dr. Jumoke Daramola, Olushola Jumoke Daramola, to use her full name, is a fellow of the Royal College of Pathologists and a member of the Hemato-Oncology Diagnostic Service team at the Royal Liverpool Hospital. She obtained a master's in public health and environmental science. That's at the University of Birmingham in the UK. Her residency training in histopathology commenced with a funded grant for an academic clinical fellowship by the NIHR. at the University of Liverpool, where she contributed to research in cerebrovascular disease in HIV. Her most recent work explores the novel immunogenic features of hematopoietic stem and progenitor cells in the human body. Now, we did choose this topic a while back, wondering what would the relevance of this be to every one of us here today. I know most of us have just finished the exam, and by God's grace, a lot of people have done well. But in the same vein, there'll be other people who probably have not done as well as they would have loved to in the same situation. And these are some of the odds we're talking about today. And before Jumoke launches into a talk, I'll just give you a quick background for some of us. Now, interestingly, passing the exam, as you all know, is just the first step. The next step then is securing a house job and then moving on from there into residency or whatever other pathways you choose to go into. For some of us, this was an interesting journey. 2005, I finished from Ife, really good, happy, the whole family had induction, but that was when the journey actually started. I remember spending 7 months at home trying to find somewhere to do my house job. Now, this is, you look back at it right now with so much fun and hilarity, but back then it wasn't funny. There was I with my fiance who was in the same class at the same time, already started 6 months ahead. I was still at home begging and looking around for places and doing interviews. It was a very horrible time. It was an odd to be surmounted. But then, like I tell people, everything becomes history at some point or the other. If you look back today at where we were in those days, at that time, it looked like all hell was breaking loose and nothing could ever work. But by God's grace, we're all where we are today in that very set. Nobody would see me today. I know I spent 7 months knocking on doors, begging people, trying to just find somewhere to do my internship. What did I do with the time? I'm sure that will be the next question. Number one, after you've made mouths to your relatives that you're not going to be collecting money from them again for a long time, and suddenly you find yourself looking for a house job, I had to improvise. I had to do some apprenticeships, work with some private hospitals, trying to get experience and get a little money just to keep body and soul together. So as much as you've passed your exams, the journey is just beginning. You are about to face another set of obstacles, which, however hard they may be, just be very confident in this. Tell yourself this line over and over again. It will become history. It's going to be part of your history. It's going to be what you tell the next generation. I wish I had somebody to tell me then that it would become history. Perhaps my blood pressure would have stayed okay all through that period, but it didn't. So without further ado, I'm going to just invite Dr. Jumoke to come in right now and speak to us about this part of today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alaba, for inviting me on the platform. And I appreciate everyone who is going to be listening today. As you've heard, I am Jumoke, and I went through OAU at the same time as my colleague Alaba. And I'll be speaking to you today about the odds, beating the odds. You know, you've heard a bit about me, what I do currently in the UK. And that's basically one side of the coin, you know, and you're going to be hearing about the other side of the coin today. And can I ask Kalaba to share the slides, please? Okay, so this slide here is just telling you the options you have as a doctor who has newly graduated. I congratulate you because you have a lot ahead of you, and you are bound to succeed. Having gone through IFE, having all the resilience in your journey, and I want to tell you, there'll be challenges, there'll be odds, but then when you are determined and you have the resilience, you are bound to succeed. For me, if you would want to ask me, or maybe I should ask you, which of these fields or which of this path is the best. I will tell you that the best is what suits you. The best is what meets your needs. It's not just, oh, I want to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. Are you really good at that? Is that what meets your needs? And at every point in life, this is what you should look into. I mean, in economics, I learned that your needs are primary, your wants are secondary. And when your needs are met, then you are sure to have your wants satisfied. So, and for me, I chose a field in pathology. And from time, it had been my interest. If you check our yearbook, I wanted pathology from the start. But something strange happened along the line, or that made me choose a career abroad, overseas. I chose my pathology overseas. And there was a need that made me choose career overseas. And we're going to be talking about that in a minute. Alaba, can I please ask you to unshare the screen so that they can see me for a bit? So I chose a career in the United Kingdom, and due to my need, special need in quotes. And to explore this need, I'm going to take you back to the 80s. Imagine. So I grew up in the 80s, one of the best decades Nigeria would be proud of. And everything was fine. It was like beautiful until one unique, memorable night when Jumoke started with, about 8 years old, when Jumoke started with pain, and there was chaos everywhere. There was indeed crisis. So we went to the hospital, and the next thing is my mom was being counseled on how to raise a child with sickle cell anemia. So that was, a life-changing point. And funny enough, the doctor advised my mom to give us beans every day. You can imagine. I ate beans every single day of my childhood. It wasn't strange when these Elewa people in Awolowo Hall started dramatizing. Ewa was already in my system. So I started growing. Still, I was a long jumper because I was tall for good reasons. I had long extremity for good reason. I was a long jumper and I could run, relay racer. But unfortunately, when it was between ages 10 and 16, I had some crises that were really bad. But at about 17, I got into OAU with this set of interesting men and women that you are just meeting. You are meeting over the past few weeks. Honestly, it was fun going through medical school with them. Some of them genuinely cared, and I enjoyed myself. As a then, maybe I already know how to take care of myself. There wasn't much to worry about. Maybe a few crises and I'm gone. And as long as this Dr. Alaba in front of you would write his end of posting, nothing would stop me from writing mine. Even if the CMD comes and says, Jumoke, you are sick, please, let's take care of you. I know they agree, I will go and write my exam. Fair enough. It works quite well for me because I think in my head, can you gauge? I have a thermostat. Can you score 50? Yes, I can. I'll go and write my end of posting. It's cuckoo, close marking, isn't it? Then. So I went on through medical school, passed, and there wasn't any problem until I got to the edge. The edge means where you were a few weeks ago. So when I got to the edge, it was a tough time because many of the physicians in the house will agree with me that that was the era of chloroquine-resistant malaria. So then there wasn't any drug that was now working for my own kind of malaria. So it was like being sick every day. I had the right doctors in the house. Dr. Mrs. Akinola was taking care of me. So don't ask me, did you try this? Did you try that? I had the right information, the right prescriptions, but it wasn't just going to work. And my final year, I was having fever, having chills. Maybe Alaba will tell you the rest. Crying and writing my surgery and writing my medicine exam. I was doing all of this. I don't know if I disturbed them, but I was just in my own, the ambulance will actually bring me to come and write my papers. It was so funny. And we will redo this example. I'm like, since Alaba is there and Bodun is there, I'm going to write my own paper. Nothing stops me. So I did it. And unfortunately, community health was the last paper. By then, my energy was sapped. So I failed Komu. So many of you may have receipts. It's not the end of life. After all, Jumoke is here today. And ask me if my needs are met. Yes. Happy? Yes. Fulfilled? Yes. Do I have wants that yet to be satisfied? Yes. Because I want to make money more than Alaba. That one is not met. So there are still some wants, but ask me if my needs are met. Yes. So there and then I decide that I have to go to a place where I can live without malaria. Basically, that is how all the female Anopheles mosquitoes in Nigeria had a meeting to send me packing out of my fatherland, unfortunately. It wasn't anything that chased me from Nigeria. I love Nigeria. I'm a pro-Nigeria person. But these tiny things called mosquito chased me out, really. So what do? I wasn't like UK or going for a greener pasture. I just wanted that need being met. And of course, it was met. And I tried several places that went malaria endemic, but I found myself in the UK, thanks to Theresa May then. So I came in to do masters. I wasn't coming for money. When I was in Nigeria as a youth corper, I had residency offered. I was offered a job for residency because I was famous for good reasons. So if I go for an interview, before they take Alaba, they will take me. No wonder I was at home doing 7 months, no house job. But for me, even though I had receipt, I got house job before him. So most of you that had receipt, don't worry. Just give it a stab and do it again. So I came to UK to do my master's, which cost a lot, about 12,500 pounds. And, I remember my parents releasing some equity in their shares to pay. So yeah, master's, I did well. I became the best in my class as usual. Malaria was not disturbing me, so my brain could work well. So I was the best in my class. And that one entered my head. Come on, I want to work with, in our yearbook, it was pathology that I wanted, but I suddenly wanted to work with the UN, WHO. Now I can form health policy. So I started applying. After months of application, no job, I decided to just do the right thing. Write my test of English, IELTS, do my PLAB 1, PLAB 2. Then I got registered in the UK. So I went straight because I've spent a lot of money. So I went straight into doing locum and I earned good money. So 10 months into my, locum work in the UK, I got a job from the UN actually. And that one entered my head as well. I'm going to be that public person a UN figure. Hey, I just needed to stain my CV. I'm going to be there. But unfortunately, Mr. and Mrs. Daramula they were around. They started begging me, UN is taking you back to Africa. There is mosquito everywhere. Please don't come back. They started begging me. After much ado, I agreed. So I thereafter got a job in A&E. And yeah, I even thought I wasn't going to be able to do A&E job, but trust me, I did it so well. When I enter A&E like this, there's no problem. But when I'm going, then I suddenly realized that I think I had back pain before I left the house, and the back pain, I will start feeling it. Next tomorrow, I'll come back. I won't feel anything doing my job. I'll be the only one managing A&E overnight. I did it so well. And from there, I got good references. I got all the competency signs, and I got into training shortly after. And then training in histopathology, interesting. But, now I've beaten the horde of malaria-induced crisis or whatever problem that is. But I never thought that would be odds anymore. So when I started training, it was an NIHR funded one, but I didn't realize I was actually going to be the first resident. We call it training here, but I'll use the word resident, that would have an NIHR sponsored residency, which means I'm partly in the university. I have a part of an academic pathway, one complex pathway like that. And then people on the hospital side don't understand, because I was the first person, not just being the first NIHR sponsored academic clinical fellowship. I was the first Black person that will be a resident doctor in the whole of Mercy Dinnery, which means like a state that Liverpool happens to be the largest city. So I was the first Black person who would successfully train in histopathology. So it was indeed an odd, which I had to beat, in a very kind nod. And I remember then I was everywhere collecting data for my research. And funny enough, this Alabama man had to come and catch up with me in maybe Glasgow airport at some point when I'm meant to be in Liverpool, actually. So he came to find me, like I was everywhere. I was meant to go to India to collect some data in Bangalore. And the people who are doing 100% clinical work would be like, what is distracting her? Why is she not here all the time? Anyway, I tried to beat that stylishly, without much problem. And so in my third year into training, into residency, marriage came and pregnancy, before I could say Jack Robinson, pregnancy came. I thought I was still going to be planning that when I finish all my exams. Pardon?
We just wonder how it happened.
Yeah, it just happened like that. So I now realize now I have to calm down. I can't be going to India and all of this and doing so many things at a time. So, and luckily UK is a very flexible place. So I had a meeting with Oga of Trainees, the training program director. Please, this postmortem that I do sometimes, can I drop it for now? Oh yes, you're pregnant, you can drop postmortem if it's going to be a stress for you. All right, since you have your basic competencies, yeah, you can beat it. I said, right. Then after that, I said, this research part of my training, can I drop it? Said yes. Then I was able to face the clinical aspect, which is the one that really brings food on my desk. So I faced it and then cleared all the exam and then cleared all the exam. And right now I'm with the hemato-oncology team, which means we report mainly. I'm the newest added newest consultant on the team, and we basically report hematological malignancies such as bone marrow trephine biopsies for MDS, myeloma, leukemia, acute myeloid leukemia. We report diagnosed cases for lymphoma, and also we interpret flow and flow cytometry and molecular studies on these tumors. So, and that's where I am today. And it's been a journey. And if you ask me, Jumoke, do you feel, are your needs met? Yes, they are met. Are you happy? Yes. Are you fulfilled? Yes. Did you face hard? Yes. Did you overcome them? Yes, I did. And I think I am happy to be where I am today. And God has helped me thus far, really. And yeah, if Alaba could share the second slide. So if you would ask me, yes, I've learned a lot, and I really want to give back to my community, want to give back to the world. And, you know, all the talents in me, I do want to use it, like Chadwick Boseman have said in this slide. So thank you very much. I think it's a nice point to put a pause.
Hello, thank you so much, Jumoke. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure at this point, quite a few of us would have questions, would have comments. Some of us would even need mentorship or even direct questioning. If you've got any questions or mentorship, or you want to speak to anyone privately that we've talked about or who has spoken in this series, just send us an email. You don't have to put your name on it. Send us an email on how you want us to contact you, even if it's just by email. I'll put it on the chat box on this so you can see it. It's going to be oaumed05@gmail.com. Quite a generic email address and easy to reach. You could also go to the Facebook page. The OAU Med05 has got a Facebook page. I'll put all the links in the chat box at the end. So I'm just going to ask now if any of us have got any kind of questions for Jumoke right now that you'd want to ask openly. Feel free to just put your hand up and then ask the question, please. Yep, reading some comments in the chat. But I don't think, please don't let this woman off easily. She's very good and super stuffy. So she knows a lot of stuff. So please, if you've got any questions at all, just ask straight on. Because I haven't seen any. Okay, I can see one hand up. Toby Loba, please. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir, thank you, sir. And thank you very much, Ma. It was very impactful to hear from you, Ma. Ma, so you mentioned having to do your master's first and then doing PLAB later on and then taking local jobs. So I was wondering, how easy is it to first of all do PLAB and then while taking on local jobs as a way of affording masters and then run masters together with local programs? How easy exactly is that, and how feasible is it? Thank you.
That's a valid question, and it's one of the things I would have loved to incorporate into my. So you have to be registered with the GMC before you could do locum work. Now, if you would ask me, it is easier for you to afford masters if you are in training. You can intercalate your masters into your training. And that way, the deanery would probably subsidize it or to pay for it in a way. So if you would ask me the best part, even though I did masters first, if I was given a chance, I would do it differently. I'll get my registration first, get into residency next. And if I now want to do masters, I would do it. on a platter of gold without paying all the international fee and all that. Maybe Alaba would have something to say on that, because I know his master's was intercalated rather than, the way I went through mine.
So what it is, like we say, the pathway is different from everyone. And not everyone would come to the UK, not everyone would go to the US, not everyone would even stay in Nigeria and practice medicine. And some would, of course, stay and help out the system, like we have a lot of our colleagues doing. So for me, I was lucky in a way, and hopefully down this series, I'll be able to tell my story at some point, to do my residency starting in Scotland, it's one of the most liberal systems in the UK, because the different countries of the UK do things slightly differently. They would actually support their trainees. So let's say you are in internal medicine residency in Scotland, for example, they will support you if you want to do masters to start to do it part-time alongside your training. And the good part is most of the time they'll pay for it, so you can get it free. But rich people like Jumoke would not understand people like me. They paid for their masters. But those of us who love freebies went to Scotland to get a little bit of a freebie, and it's quite helpful to do it that way. So it just depends. It's a very flexible system, and you can do it whichever way you want to do it. Is there any other question for Jumoke before we proceed?
I think somebody asked which masters I
Oh,
did.
okay. Sorry, I did miss that part with the connection problem. Please carry on.
Yeah, I had masters in public and environmental health science.
Okay.
At the University of Birmingham.
Yeah, so that was Jumoke's pathway. And obviously it's worked really well for her, considering where God has helped her to get to today. Now, I'm just going to say something at this point, because I know there might be a few of us who have had issues. No doubt some of your classmates would have had issues with these exams. Please reach out to them, not with pity, because they are not failures. And I think that's the first thing you need to establish. You're not pitying them because they are failures. You're feeling for them because their expectations at this moment was not met. There's a difference between being a failure and actually having a failed attempt at something. Has anybody failed before? I've failed before. For Christ's sake, I repeated a whole year in med school. For what? Does it make any difference now, today, as we speak? I can tell you absolutely none. And we're not even talking about receipts. We're talking about a whole year, which, of course, in those days, in the early 90s, turned into 3 years with all the aluta and the unrest and the ASU and the issues about that time. So reach out to people, speak to them. You're not pitying them. You'll only understand where they are because they had an unmet expectation. They are totally different things. And when you approach them, don't go with, hey, yeah, sorry, no, there's nothing like that. In fact, I dare say that repeating the whole year was the best thing that's ever happened to me in life. And I know this won't make sense to most people now. Otherwise, I won't be married to the woman I'm married to right now, but that's a story for another day. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been part of this. One of the things...
Yeah. For the first time.
Sorry?
I'm hearing that you're studying for the first time.
Uncle K, I don't understand
please.
when you repeated.
Oh, we know now. We know already. We know.
I've heard that story I've heard that story before.
All this, please, guys, tell us to mind themselves.
We know the reason. Alaba, we know.
Guys, sorry. So just to say, come on, people, settle down. This is how they disturb my classes in those days in the classroom.
Just come out and come back in.
Okay. Can we mute everyone?
And you are not giving it all the permissions it needed.
Hold on.
We didn't ask her for any permission.
All right. I hope I've managed to mute everyone at this moment. Sorry. So I was going to say, extend that hand of friendship to those who may not have passed at this moment, and let them understand exactly where they are. Even if they don't believe it now, the story will sink in later. Secondly, all of you guys have got what I call the Ife spirit inside of you. And that's the indomitable spirit. That's the spirit of, I can surmount all obstacles. And if you take nothing else from that medical school, of all the brilliant and beautiful things that the school gives you, take the fact that you're one of the most resilient human beings that can walk this earth at this moment. the kind of obstacles some people would face in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years time and would fall to pieces. If you're an IFE student, it's a walk in the park for you. You'll go, gosh, this is serious, but okay, let's do it this way. That solution-focused mentality is what you would come out of IFE with, and it's quite helpful. Please don't lose that, whatever you do. So please, if you want to get in touch with us, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we've put all of the links on the flyers for this. Please do get in touch, especially if you have any questions, even if it's personal to any of the speakers here. Send it through the email address, which I'll put in the chat box at the moment. And then you can just get directly in touch with us to get more insights into where we are. We hope to continue this series going forward on a monthly basis. And believe you me, if you think you've seen stuff today, we still have more and more and more stuff coming up. We've got a group of fantastic ex-IFE students who know where you're coming from, who have walked the same corridors you've walked at the moment, and will give you the nuggets you need to move forward in any direction you need to move forward to. I'm sure one of your lecturers is here listening to me at the moment, so I won't say too much about Pastor Lekon. And he's also still going to be speaking to us in the future as we go forward. We've got people from the US, we've got people from Nigeria, we've got people from all over the country. Pastor Lekon, you wanted to say something, sir? You can unmute yourself.
No, just saying hi.
Okay.
Yeah, just saying hello.
Thank you. So if you've got any questions, get in touch with us via email. I'll put the email in here now. And if there's nothing else to be asked at this moment, we shall be drawing this to a close. We know you're all busy people and you've got very important things to do. And I wish you all a very lovely and pleasant week. Thank you. I think that's about it today.
Because every time they have to ask you something that they already know.
And you can see if you zoom out a little bit, you'll realize, yeah, we're holding above this 49.5 quite some time. You see Bitcoin has dropped down, maybe hard to see, but this drop down is tested.